What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the absolute best show in all of combat sports, talking about the fight podcast. I'm your host, SERG Vicente, and today we have a really special show, man. We are going to go ahead and talk about, we got sponsors. We doing stuff, finally. We got some sponsors, and I want to introduce you guys to the gentlemen who have brought this product to me. It's the Bump Serum. We're really going to talk about this. But before we get to that, everybody who is watching live right now, thank you guys so much for watching on YouTube, on Twitch, on IG. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the show for this type of content and so much more. All right, let's go ahead and bring the gentleman on. First of all, I'm bringing on the show the founder and president of the Bump Serum. We have Mr. Charles Johnson. Charles, how's everything, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Everything's going well now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, this is great.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you joining me today, man. And I also have to bring on the chief research executive, aka the sorcerer. We were talking about Dr. Reginald Austin. Doc, what is going on, man? Welcome to the show.
I am doing well, and I really appreciate you promoting and advancing my sorcery. That's something that I'm really working on.
Hey, look, man.
It's good to be here.
I believe in magic.
It's good to be here. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much.
Both you. Oh, I'm sorry. Both you guys are fighters, so I'm the wimpy one. So if we ever walk together, I'll be in the middle, so you guys look like my bodyguards on both sides.
I mean, you're every bit of like 6'5", so you're gonna be the one everybody's gonna be looking to be scared of anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing. We're the last people people would look to. It's like, okay, let's move these two guys out of the way and see what this guy's gonna do.
Let's get them.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen,
absolutely.
thank you guys so much. I want to talk about, obviously, the Bump Serum. You guys have a fantastic product. And again, I'm somebody that, in terms of talking about it, a lot of, gentlemen, specifically black men, will get razor bumps. And anything that I want to associate or bring to the show is something that not only do I respect, obviously, I'm very pro-black, so something that is a black-owned company, I'm also going to lean into, but things that benefit our community. And to have a product that is specifically designed, on some legit FUBU for us, by us, has an opportunity again to really help us in that way, especially if we're talking about anything from military, professional people in corporate. We all want to have fantastic skin. And this product leads into it. Gentlemen, I have to lead with this. I have used the product. I am a fan of the product. When I use the product, here's the thing. Yes, I have a beard and I don't shave every day. I line my beard up about once or twice a week. But when I use it, I use a straight razor. And using the straight razor, my face, I used to get, you can see the irritation. You can see the irritation for like 2 days later. My face was just beat up and kind of raw. The first time I used the Bump Serum, I got done shaving. I walked out to my living room, and my lady looks at me, and she said, "Did you get a new razor? What did you do? Your skin looks fantastic." And I'm like, I felt like one of those silly ads. It was the Bump Serum. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fantastic product. I would love to know how you gentlemen, and let's say, what would, again, Charles, I'll start with you. What was your idea behind this product? How did you start this product?
Yeah, thanks. The product started from out of necessity. Like most black men, I had razor bumps. It was really tough for me to find a product that worked for me. It worked, I found something that worked for a little bit. And then, a few months later, sometimes even a year later, it just didn't work. So I just started talking to different doctors and dermatologists to, see what their recommendations were. They didn't have anything that was on the market, but I did keep hearing this kind of recurrent theme of inflammation. Right. And so I'm like, well, let me just start focusing on inflammation. How do you get inflammation down? So I was getting advice from doctors and dermatologists. I don't care if I went in to scrape my, because I broke my leg or something, and doctor, first thing I'm asking about is like, hey, how do you clear up razor bumps? Right. So I was one of those kind of curious people. But back to the inflammation, they were, I kept hearing about, different ingredients. And so I just started mixing, an aftershave, what is now an aftershave in my kitchen. And I started to see a reduction, and it was moisturizing my skin. You know, the ingredients that I was using.
So you were literally just sitting there, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that in your kitchen and throwing it on and seeing what worked.
Yeah, yeah. After talking, I even talked to Ken.
Okay.
Yeah, I was even talking to Ken. Like, you know, hey, if I mix these two together, am I going to blow up the house? You know, am I going to melt my skin off? And
Right.
you know, once I was essentially getting the green light that I was using safe ingredients, you know, I just went for it.
Okay.
And I eventually came up with something that worked, and then I started focusing on a shaving gel rather than a shaving cream. Shaving creams, just forget it; they never work for me. It was clogging up the blade and all dirty and collecting bacteria. Not interested.
That's a great point, because you guys have, and again, it is a system that it has. It's not just one of the things that is like, oh, this is just one product and nothing. It's an entire system. I want to know a little bit about that, because like you said, all of us, even myself, got the old school shaving cream type of thing that you use, you put on. Even my dad's even worse. And again, he old school brother, he sit there, literally he'll take, he has this old cup, and he puts, anytime he goes to a hotel of some sort, he grabs like the soap, he just keeps jamming old soaps in there, and he uses that essentially to lather up for his face. And I'm always looking at him like, hey man, you wouldn't look as crusty if you used something else. I would love for you to give. He always asks, like, sir, son, your skin looks so great. I'll tell you why yours doesn't. I don't use that nonsense. But so you guys have this gel. What was the purpose, like I said, of the gel? How did you guys develop that specifically?
Well, I developed it again, you know, just by experimenting with different ingredients. But I'll tell you one thing that I noticed from shaving gels that are on the market, and definitely shaving creams. Very few were cleaning the skin and the blade while you're shaving. That's what our shaving gel does. Reginald, I'm going to actually defer to you on this, because you can probably explain the difference a heck of a lot better than I can. I know why I came up with it, but in terms of the, the effectiveness of it, I'm gonna leave that to you.
Let's hear from the sorcerer himself. All right, so
Yeah, so
how does that work? Yes.
well, what he's saying is actually true, because anybody's used like the typical shaving, creams. Basically, they do exactly that. They basically clog up the razor. And
Right.
I never really, even in my early days when I started to use shaving cream, it didn't make sense because you didn't have the visibility. That's another
Correct.
thing that you're actually missing. And with the gel, it's a clear gel that we use for the shaving system. So there are two things that happens. Because you have greater visibility. So one thing you're not doing is actually shaving over and over a certain spot, which is traumatizing the skin. Anytime you're shaving, you're traumatizing the skin. That's one thing. The other thing too is because of the way the gel that we use is formulated, it's an antibacterial. So you also reduce the chances of any sort of infections or secondary infections that you would actually get otherwise. And I think that's another key point with this gel. And it's better on the skin. It's easier, and it's actually a better moisturizer even than what you find in typical shaving creams. So at every level, in the design of just the first part of the system, the shaving gel, it makes more sense. It's a more practical use, right? Like you're saying, your dad was actually using these these different soaps and things like that.
Oh man, all kinds of concoctions of different soaps.
That's just drying skin out and these sorts of things. Whereas with us, we've actually it isn't just that we're thinking about this from a medical standpoint in terms of like how to reduce the chances of actually having infections, but also being able to take a better control of your shave. Like I can't stress enough the visibility that you get with using a clear gel versus using a white cream. It's a very different thing.
No, and I'll be honest with you again, as somebody who's used the product, it really does feel good on your skin. And that's one thing that after I get done using the product, and the interesting, you gentlemen talk about inflammation. And in terms, I know for myself, I'm somebody that is constantly looking to, even with my diet, I'm trying to limit inflammation. So to hear something like that, those are the type of like key and trigger words that I'm always like going to be gravitate towards essentially. So even when I feel as though it really is, after the fact, you can tell that my skin isn't inflamed. I don't have those red marks that I have for, especially, you know, if you use a straight razor, anybody who has, sometimes that first pass, you're not going to get it. I'm over here stretching my skin out, trying to like make sure the line is straight. And that really does, you know, it could just tear your skin up. So this is
Yes.
limited so much the amount of time that I have to go over it. And I always thought that, I was just like, my razor sucks. I'm like, I need to get a new razor. My blades on it, and it wasn't even the razor or the blade itself. It was actually the products that I was using, and it wasn't allowing me because. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I let my beard get crazy. I don't care, and I was just chalking it up as being a man. Okay, this is my man shit. I don't need to be out here looking all prim and proper all the time. But with that now, man, now I understand what women throw makeup on. It's the same thing. I would use the bump serum. My face is over here looking like I'm over here styling. Even my lady looking at me like, oh, you just always trying to get your grown and sexy on now. You're damn right. Thank you, bump serum.
Hey man, look, we appreciate it. You know, I certainly don't want to turn the show into. First off, we're really happy to be sponsoring, you know, the Fight Podcast. Man, you've been killing it. I'm loving the direction of where your show's been going. Keep it up. We need more voices like this. I will say that, you know, I've kind of stepped away from, you know, watching boxing the way I used to, but I am a fight fan, you know, going back from, you know, the 70s. I am pretty old. But man, keep it up.
You see, people,
you're like my new, you're like my Wikipedia
serum, and that's why he looks so young and pristine. You see that?
I avoid fights. That's why I look the way that.
Yeah, that's the secret, is to avoid it, because if you're fighting all the time, you can tell people. It's funny because we used to joke about this. You can always tell the brothers who've been fighting a lot, especially like in the streets. Like if you see that look, just go the other way. They're used to getting hit.
I got it. I mean, I grew up in Chicago, like you, sir. You know, I grew up in Chicago.
We're all Chicago gentlemen.
One time Chicago. Chicago too, right?
Well, yeah, we're all
Dr. Austin is from Chicago as well.
Yeah,
so we all grew up, you know, in the same type of environment, you know, especially on the South Side. You know, you're gonna get into fights. You know, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. But yeah, you know, as I got a little bit older, you know, taller and filled out, you know, I think to your point earlier, just like maybe I don't want to mess with this guy, and that's been my defense, I should say. But yeah, no, I'm not a fighter, but I just love the sport. I love it. I love martial arts, and you know, I love talking a little bit about that. Because I don't want to turn your show into, you know, a large TV commercial, even though it is the best product in the market.
I wanted to, and I appreciate that. And again, one time in Chicago, but I was going to go ahead and change gears a little bit, and obviously we'll talk about the bumps here throughout this. But I do want to ask you guys, because it is the Fight Podcast, and you both are at, you know, known to be fans of combat sports. Dr. Austin, I believe you're a martial artist yourself. So in terms of, again, well, first of all, we have a huge fight this weekend. We have Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. We have the Ring 6. Are you guys currently tuned into the active world of boxing or mixed martial arts right now?
I think a bit more of the mixed martial arts I've been trying to get back into. But my life has just been so busy that I've been out of the loop. But I think I've been talking to Charles a bit and trying to actually connect with boxing, because so the boxing, and maybe you guys can speak to this a bit more. The boxing that I remember growing up with, this was like you know, Larry Holmes and these sorts of fights. It's very different than, it seems to me, than what we have now. Because the last fight that I saw, I guess it's considered exhibition boxing, and this was this fight with what's this guy's name? With the beard.
You talking about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua? You talking about that fight?
It was a disaster. It was like, what?
It was awful.
It was a catastrophe. It was like, what is this? He's jumping around the ring, and I'm like, what is going on here? So, I mean, the fights you're talking about now that are scheduled for this card, this sounds more like the traditional, serious practitioners of this art.
Yeah. Well, I will say,
yeah, it seems to be. Is there sort of like a division there where you have more?
Well, I'll say this in terms of what we're seeing. Those spectacles are something that's always been around in boxing. Muhammad Ali had an exhibition match against Aoki, who is essentially one of the godfathers of mixed martial arts, who is a professional wrestler, and they had a match in the 70s. So this is not something we saw Floyd Mayweather have his little run against the Big Show in the WWE. This is always something that has been a part of boxing, and that's where the sports entertainment of it all comes in. So I think that there is a space for a Jake Paul and people like that. Granted, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm not a fan of what they're doing, because I am such a purist of the sport, but I understand what it is, and if it is a gateway drug to bringing people into real combat sports, I'm all here for it. You know what I mean?
You know what? There's a lot of truth to that, and I'll give you a different perspective. The reason I stopped watching boxing so much was really after the Triple G.
Fight.
Yeah. After those, that trilogy. Look, I was a fan of Triple G. I like the boy. That dude, he had hands to feel.
He ducked Andre Ward, but he's good. I give him.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah, Andre Ward. That's a bad man, boy.
One of my favorites of all time.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That
so
dude,
Andre Ward, and that's why I love. So Shakur Stevenson, who's fighting tonight, is under the lineage of Andre Ward. It was Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson. Okay. They're like each other's big and little brothers.
I did not know that. Okay, I knew about Terrence Crawford. Okay.
Yep. And
after that Triple G, man, I just stepped away because it felt like the Don King, Bob era. Just like, you know what, when y'all clean it up, then I'll come back. And to your point, both you guys' point, I do think that fiasco with Jake Paul and Pretty Boy Anthony Joshua. I think I almost lost my lady, watching that fight with him. Oh, good looking chiseled dude. I was like, I don't know if it was a smart idea watching this fight.
Yeah.
But, I will say, I think his mentions bounced up in women's circles more than anybody else. Yeah. All the guys were like, look, man, we've been knowing what dude look like, but we ain't want to tell y'all. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, a 6'5" black dude with all the muscles.
6'5",
6'5", 280 pounds of just man. Like I get it.
I can't stand him.
Well, let me ask you, gentlemen, this again. You both are a fan. I said long-term boxing. Who are some of the martial arts as well as boxing individuals that you would say influenced you growing up? Because there has always been such a correlation between Black American and Black culture and martial arts. And I always love talking about that, the connections between that. For yourselves, who were those individuals for you guys growing up that you looked at in those spaces? Because especially, growing up, 60s, 70s, even 80s, boxing was king. 90, mid-90s, 2000s, the Mayweatherification of boxing, I think, hurt boxing, and I think we're getting out of that now. That means individuals, when I say Mayweatherification of boxing, it's individuals who actually who are protecting the O. It was about entertainment, not about really challenging yourself to be the champion that you could be. And I think that's what really gave people a bad taste in their mouth when we're talking about boxing specifically. But I think we're changing from that now. So for you, gentlemen, who were the individuals that you guys looked at when you're growing up? Like, that's the guy. And he's somebody that inspired you moving forward.
I'll go first on this one. Well, the foundation. I was born in '72, so Ali was the guy that we all looked up to.
For sure,
because what he did politically and for our race. And then of course he still got back in the ring and improved himself there as well. But in terms of like learning how to be tough, I'd have to say, oh my gosh, my age is showing right now. Not Hearns, Ball.
Oh, come on, we talk about Marvin Hagler.
I'm so bad. I'm so embarrassed. It is my man Marvin Hagler.
Yeah,
Marvin Hagler. That dude just like. He didn't duck anybody. He went out there. He gave it his all. He had an amazing fighting style, by the way, too, man.
He was slick. He was tough. He had power in both hands. There was nothing that he could not do in the ring. I love watching Marvin.
that man, and it's such a class act outside of the ring, even though he looked dangerous, you know, back because nobody was bald back then.
Run around with the war hat on, just screaming, walking out, war. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, that dude was just tough, man. I mean, his defensive style, you know, just the way he got out of situations, the very few that he was in where he was actually in trouble. It was the first time I started paying attention to, you know, how someone fights defensively.
Right.
But offensively,
we'll talk about him in a minute.
Oh my gosh, that was my guy in terms of like how to kind of, you know, conduct yourself, you know, in a fight, you know, gain your confidence, you know, mirroring yourself out.
Right.
And then, you know, on the fun side of it, you know, style, you got my man Jim Kelly, you know, as martial artist doing the stuff in the 70s movies and stuff like
Jim
that.
Kelly, I grew up, so also not only obviously a martial arts fan, I mean, even if you're like, you know, around my age, I'm a millennial, and we grew up with the Boondocks, and they had even their one character that was even was modeled after Jim Kelly. And it's just like, so seeing somebody like that, and again, having those influences. Jim Kelly, for those who don't know, you know, is in there obviously with his Last Dragon with Bruce Lee, just fantastic martial arts and legitimate martial artists. Dr. Austin, how about yourself, man? Who were the individuals for you that influenced?
Mine is a little bit different because, of course, it was with Jim Kelly, but I grew up with people who were obsessed with martial arts, and this would be my father. So it sounds corny, but my leading guy and my keen interest, the reason I ever had any interest in actually taking a class was because my father had actually, he was actually in karate, and he was considered to be, my father was like the guy in the neighborhood, was the tough guy. He was the guy that gangs responded to because, you know, he was just tough. And I always connected that with his ability, you know, with martial arts. And he had a cousin called Eddie, an older cousin who was also quite a tall guy, and he was even better than my father. And the funny thing is, we have this memory of Abdul Karim actually leaving that footprint on Bruce Lee's chest. My father actually, my cousin Eddie had done that to my dad because he was just a better fighter. So that was it. And I think the other thing too is, with that sort of obsession and my upbringing with martial arts, was when we could actually see on TV, it was Channel 32, I believe it was, in Chicago.
Fox.
And they had this you know, these really poorly produced but well choreographed you know, kung fu movies. And you would see it would be like kung fu theater, and they would just go, and we would sit and we would watch those, and right afterwards my siblings and I would try to, you know, do the moves, of course, you know, with these things. And then we would go to the McVickers Theater downtown. McVickers Theater is down theater downtown Chicago, has been long since gone for good reason, because, you know, it was rats involved.
Rat infested. That's what I remember about it.
The carpet was like gum. It was so much. It was so old. But the thing is, back then, is you would go and you could see 3 movies basically for the price of one. That or people just wouldn't leave.
Mornings, right?
You would go and you would sit and you would see these movies, and it was just, you know, you could see martial arts to me was a way not only to be tough, but to you know, be able to have the tools, that resource to actually right the wrongs, not only of what people have done to you, but, you know, if you could actually protect other people. And so that was my connection to the arts, and I got started quite early and just stuck with it. But I'd see my gateway really into it was in my home. It was just there. My father was just, he was really the martial artist I looked up to, and still today. I mean, now he doesn't do it anymore, but it's always been a dream of mine to be able to spar with him. Now I can't, because he has an oxygen tank. It would go poorly for him. Probably for me too, as an old man. But yeah, I think that's really what I connected with. But
Beautiful.
In addition to that, he was also very much interested to boxing, in boxing, and so that was also my introduction to that sport as well.
Well, let me ask you gentlemen this. And we have a few minutes left. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us. And let me ask you this, really, both of you. in terms of boxing wise, just because we have, I mean, you can throw MMA also in there if you like, but in your mind, what are the greatest fight that you've ever watched live?
Let's see. Uh, I I don't want to say the oh, watching it live, watching it
Yes.
live.
I mean, you know what? It doesn't even have to be
Mm.
live because honestly, Tommy Hearns versus Marvin Hagler is one of the greatest fights that I've ever
Oh,
watched. And that fight came out before I was here. And I've watched that and I'm like, you know what? That's it. Like, that's one of the greatest I've ever watched.
I mean, in terms of high energy for that amount of time, that was a classic, man. That was made it clear to me that I should never box. Um,
Yeah.
but I have to say, in terms of being, I hate to say this, you know, because I'm sure there's a fight that's better, but the Tyson Douglas fight,
It's a great fight.
that was a good fight because you know that was the height of Mike Tyson's just scaring the crap out of everybody.
For sure.
And
Mm.
Buster Douglas, his name was Buster. You know, like everybody's like, he's fighting a guy named
Yeah.
Buster. You know, that was a term we
Yeah.
used. Man, he a Buster. You know, and he gets in
Yeah.
there, you know, with this guy, and of course he knocks him down. You know, and he got up off that canvas and he
He should have
handled
been
business.
knocked out. If you go back and you look at
Yeah.
that count, it was like a 13-second count. He
Yeah,
should
yeah,
he
because
thought
it
that
took a
fight
while
should
for
have
him
been
to turn
over.
around. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
that. But he still took care of business, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was an incredible fight to watch. But I'm sure that there's, you know what? You remember that woman, Christy? What was her last name? Christy Martin.
Christy Martin. Yep.
Pretty much any fight Christy Martin did. Like I used to love watching her because she didn't play in that ring.
Hey, Christy Martin was cold. Christy Martin cold. I have her in my top 10 in terms of female boxers of all time. She's probably like at 10, but she's up there because especially what she meant at the time, who she was. Now, Christy Martin go out there and try to fight a Clarissa Shields or an Ann Wolfe or something like that. She would have got her head knocked off.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's neither here nor there. She was fantastic for what she did. Doc, how about yourself?
I would definitely go with the Buster Douglas and Tyson fight for sure. But I can tell you one other one
Okay.
early in life, and it's from 1982.
Okay.
It may not mean that much to other people, but I just remember it being so big, and it was the Larry Holmes and Jerry Clooney fight. I believe it was.
Jerry Cooney.
Was that the?
Cooney or Clooney?
Yeah.
Cooney.
Was it Clooney? Cooney. Yeah, it was Cooney. Coone. And that may not be a big thing. I just remember it somehow being such a big fight. It was such a big thing when we were younger. So and I remember us sitting down and watching and how big a deal that was. So and in the boxing world that was it. But I think I would say more that was more nostalgia. But I think probably the biggest fight for I would agree with Charles that the Douglas Tyson fight was really really big because up to that point Tyson was just knocking people out. I mean he was
Right.
an unstoppable force, and to see that fight it was really pivotal. And I think for the boxing world's sort of perspective of who he was, and for him as well,
Yeah.
it really sort of was this turning point.
No, you're right. Now those are some great fights. My favorite fight that I've watched. There's been a couple of them. I could easily say this year's fight of the year. That was just actually announced yesterday with the Ring Magazine awards banquet that happened in New York City last night. Chris Eubank. I'm sure you guys. Do you guys remember Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank?
Chris Eubank, that rings a bell.
So
That rings a
their
bell.
sons are also top level fighters, and their sons fought. Their fathers had Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank had a series of fights and a rivalry. Their sons also have a rivalry. And
Oh,
have
get
had
out of
two
here.
fights. And they fought twice this year, and they split the fights. And that fight, actually, the first one was fight of the year. Just overall ridiculous fight. If you guys have an opportunity to check it out, for those watching, it's on YouTube. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, fantastic fight. Also, all-time favorite fight is Diego Corrales versus Jose Luis Castillo. That fight,
Yeah.
if you have never watched it, you need to go check it out.
Okay, now that one I've been following that one.
That was a great
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
some names you just can't duck, you know.
You can't. It is awesome. Okay, last thing before I let you guys go, we're talking about films. Doc, I'm gonna start with you. Favorite martial arts film of all time? Blaxploitation or
Oh, see, I was a real big fan of the things that actually had. I was not a Bruce Lee fan. I've never really not in that sense. I always liked
Hey man,
the
I
films
was
that.
born in the '80s. I'm a Jean-Claude Van
Yeah,
Damme guy.
yeah. I like Van Damme stuff, but I think a person that really it was later on, and that's Michael Jai White's films. I love his work because this dude doesn't look like he can do the things that he can do.
Have you guys
I've
seen Blood
seen
and
it.
Bone? Blood and Bone with Michael Jai White is a fantastic film.
Yeah, I
Man,
love watching his films.
we can have a whole nother show about him. I've met Michael a couple times.
Yeah.
That dude, first of all, he looks scary. So I mean,
Yes.
he's a little. I'm a little bit taller than him, but it don't matter. Like I know he would. That dude looks just scary. And he is solid.
Yeah.
But he's the nicest guy in the world. He's the nicest guy in the world. I ain't gonna fight him. I don't suggest anybody fight him. I don't care if he's professional. You may win. It ain't gonna end well for you. But no, that dude, he's something else.
Yeah, I love his work.
He has fantastic fights. For me, The Last Dragon is up there for me because I just grew up with it. Bruce Leroy, come on, come on, gotta love it.
Dude, you gotta have us back on because you know my background is in Hollywood, so you know I know a lot of people from the entertainment industry. I know Timac. So yeah, I think you need to come back on. Plus, there's a really funny Floyd Mayweather story I got to tell you. It's really, I know we have time, but you got to have me back on so I can tell you this story.
I'm here for it. We will do it.
And real quick, before one more thing, the fight with Cesar Chavez and the fight that Richard Steele stopped at the last moment.
Medrick Taylor.
Medrick Taylor. That's the most exciting fight that I've ever seen.
Should not have been stopped. Medrick should have won, and mentally it messed him up. He was done for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll explain to you later, Doc. Oh my goodness.
Great fight. No, those are all great fights. And anybody who's watching, definitely check out the fights tonight. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. That is going to be absolutely fantastic. Gentlemen, the Bump Serum, incredible product. When are individuals going to be able to get a hold of it? As we see, we got the beautiful branding. Look at you. As I'm sure all of us have watched White Chicks back in the day. Look on the cover, beautiful chocolate man. Look at that. Who's that?
This is just because I was too cheap to actually get a model, so I just use my cell phone right now. But trust me,
the skin is glowing. Yeah, fantastic. So when can they find the product? How can they get it? And is there, once they do, are there any, what's any discounts we can give our listeners? What are we doing? What can we do?
Thank you for that. Absolutely. So first off, we don't sell our products individually. It's a shaving gel and an aftershave and a sealant, moisturizing cream. That's what we showed it earlier. Each kit will be everything sold together as a kit right now. The manufacturer.
Can we see? Can you pick up the kit so we can see it really fast? Also, we got you on the big screen so we can actually see all the way.
Got it. Okay.
Nice.
And so it'll look something like this, and each just be in there. But yeah, the manufacturer is in the final stages of completing each unit. We ordered about 25,000, so it's going to be limited. We're going to have limitations until we can see like what the audience is, what the demand is, that type of thing. It'll be a subscription. You can do it, a 30-day, 60-day, 45-day subscription service, or just order a la carte. You do that kind of thing. But we're looking, I'll probably say maybe another 2 months. But in terms of discounts, especially the Fight Podcast, bring us back on right before we're about to launch. And I'll give a special code for Fight Podcast. Make sure that you guys get a fat discount. You can go to the website right now, thebumpserum.com, and just sign up. You get 10% off. And so You get 10% off. Plus, when we have it back on, we'll give you another discount on top of that for Fight Podcast people.
Nice. So you said that's the bumpserum.com?
TheBumpSerum.com, correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
let people see it. I'll give me 1 second. Just so they see it. Make sure you guys check out the bumpserum.com. Right there. It's again, fantastic product. I would never, give to my listeners or anything that I didn't believe in. This is a fantastic product. It is an ethical product in terms of all the things that are in there. It's fantastic quality products in there, and it's Black owned. I mean, come on, this is fantastic. This is something that I definitely believe in, and I cannot wait for you guys to check this product out. Gentlemen, thank you both so very much for joining us on the Fight
Thank
Podcast.
You. It was a pleasure. Have us back. I would love to continue this conversation.
Oh, we're gonna keep man. This guy, this is interesting. I love this show. I love this show, man. But keep it up. The Fight Podcast audience, keep coming to him. This brother, he's on top of it. He is on top of it. He's going to start delivering you even better material.
You know what? Yeah. Like you said, I want to bring you guys back on. Like I said, let's come on. We should do right before we launch. We could put up. We'll do something in terms of like we'll talk fights, not just fights, but we even like movies and kind of go in depth with some of those. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And so we can have a few that we watched beforehand, and then we can break them down and talk about them. So we could do that next time. Yeah. And
I think so. And also talking about like how the impact that martial arts had on and just in Black culture in general. I think that's a really interesting topic too.
Hey, look, we will discuss for sure.
Okay.
Well, good.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Everybody else, thank you again for paying attention. Like, share, subscribe to the Fight Podcast. Love y'all. We'll see you guys next time right here on the show.
Thank you so much.